I think it's safe to say that so far the 2020s have been an interesting decade for Disney. Mainly with the main animation studio, Walt Disney Animation Studios. O's, at the beginning of the decade, okay, I think, I think, they did struggle with the box office issues through the pandemic. They were are able to make some big films, especially with Encanto. So how even though that didn't do amazing in cinemas, once it came onto Disney Plus, it became a global phenomenon. Then, but but after that, the next two original films, it was with Straight Ainsworth, Owen Wish, got poor reception from both critics and the box office, where they became two of the biggest flops in Disney history. Straight. But that doesn't mean everything Disney did in the 2020s was bad. As with their recent films, they have been showing some progress. Moana 2 definitely as a huge critic, but it did become on to be a huge hit, aiming $1 billion. There's an Zootropolis too, who has become the second highest grossing animated feature behind Ninja 2, which both of those films are actually released in the same year. Yeah, yeah. But aren't you probably wondering how did Disney start off that decade for Walt Disney Animation Studios? Well, that would be that 2021 animated feature, Raya and the Last Dragon. And seeing it, how this film is now 5 years old, I think now is the perfect time to do a retrospective on this film. Oh, and seeing its reception has been quite crazy. See, I remember when this film came out, and it was really what I liked when it first came out. Yet for some reason, ever since its shape, I feel as this is compared. Ever since the video go on this film, and Anton Tony said that he no longer liked Raya. Yeah, it somehow turned everyone against the film, and they still started disliking the film for no reason. So look, now first of all, I'm not saying this was Schaefer's fault or for giving everyone on this when this opinion. He was clearly just expressing his own opinion, and whether we agree with it or not, we should respect that. Yeah, yet it seems like whatever opinion he seems to have on most recent Disney films, the entire animation community now has to share that feeling. It happened back in 2020, and when he did his video on what he thought about Alfred X the Internet was awful. And it happened again with Raya and the Last Dragon. Me, I never gave into any of those stuff. I've learned to focus on mainly my own opinions and what I think about our film, and not have my opinion changed because someone else has a film I like is bad. And now that I've got that tangent out of the way, I can say that I personally think Raya and the Last Dragon is one of my favourite Disney films. Seriously, this film deserves so much better treatment. But this is a phenomenal feat. Each film. I just love the world building thing. A lot and designed after the dragon, but after asterisk effect, and that eliminated all the dragons, and how the world was saved by the last dragon, Sisu Datu, to only leave even bring her gem, and the 5 lands of Commander split up and up and 4, all which formed the 5 main lands, and Fang, Heart, Talon, Spine, and Tail. Oh, look, the film does a fantastic job of building Commander up as a character, explaining how the lands become divided. And why it's important for especially to not only find Sisu to connect the pieces of the dragon jet and begin to stop up the June who have now Avatar and Commander, but also find the way to reunite either and then bring back peace. It is noticeable that Disney took all the time they needed to build the land of Commander, not only giving it a backstory to how its people became separated and how they became enemies, but how every little land and Commander works and how it's built. My personal favourite for land and its talent long way, and they shown to become quite an advanced land, and where they've literally built their town and a city on the water to as a marketplace in the pit, to keep themselves protected from the Droom. Also, the animation is just incredible. But this isn't just one of my favourite Disney films, it's also one of my favourite looking Disney films. If you thought Disney took a lot of time into researching how Commander will work, I don't think that compares to how long the animators took. Look, it shows in the final project that they were working hard to make Commander look the best it can be. And every little area, big or small, all looks amazing. So making the place feel big and gigantic. The animation also helps in the intensity of the action scenes. They are easily either highlights of the feature, and whenever Raya in a fight against Ari or has to escape the Droom, they make sure the moments are as intense and exciting. I think it's possible. But if I got to be honest, this what really makes this film for me. It are the characters and how they are built. Oh, these are some Disney's most rich and complicated characters, and that's what makes them so interesting. And Raya is pretty much a broken protagonist. It's someone that blames herself for the end and what other than the divide of Commander. When she trusts someone she shouldn't, and her Annie's doing everything she can to fix her mistake and bring her father. This makes her a really complex character, where she is the one that needs to learn to trust the most. And how it's really hard for her because the last time she did it she broke the world, and she's worried that if she trusts someone again, and the same thing will happen. This is most noticeable in her interactions with Sisu. So I really like Sisu as a character. To show Awkwafina's comedy is not for everyone, but I've always liked her as an actor, and for her comedy does a good job of spice, icing up the scene. And it also helps that Sisu isn't just about the jokes either. However, she does have a really interesting backstory to how her siblings trusted her to be the Dragon's eighth commander from the Dream in Arkham, and how she officially got the title as the Last Dragon. However, it's her relationship with Raya that's so interesting. Remember when I said before that all about Raya's trust issues? Even though she's happy to find I see you and have her on her side, it's really noticeable that Raya doesn't fully trust Sisu to go through with her and would rather stick to her own instead of follow on with Isu's suggestions of trying to fix the world. And trust the other that. And it does a great job to show how complex of a protagonist Raya is, and how even she can have faults of her own. And I also thought that the crew she built up on her journey were really good characters. Because they had their own little fun personality. Is whether it be the Boone, the captain, and to escalate X ride to wherever she needs to be, or not the calm on baby with her group of these who has to sleep whatever she can, and proves how she and her uncles can make a great action and great a help to Raya's mission, and Tong the big tough warrior who's the only one left from spying. I am feeling it was all alone. They do a great job at building out these characters, but man, Namari, out of all the Disney antagonists, she is probably one of the most interesting. Keep in mind that most of the land split ain't found for or releasing Cinder Dream. And Amari is mainly on this mission to kind of clear everything and stop Raya from getting the Dragon Gem pieces. However, when Namari actually meets Yusu, that's when her character changes for the better, showing that there's more to her than just us an antagonistic force, and someone that wants the same thing as Raya, to trust us people. Which leads me to the third act, which everyone seems to have a problem with. And personally, I don't think the Marvel's right. When it comes to Steve's death, yeah, it's not Marvel responsible. Oh, absolutely. There's no debating on that. She's definitely part of it. However, many people look over the fact that so was Raya. Yeah, it's quite noticeable that even though Raya is now to trust these, so he still can't trust us Namari straight away. And it looks like Namari was going to take out Sisu, so Raya tries to save Ava, but it's the main reason why the dark art goes in through Sisu. So I think many people will just need to look at the fact that yes, Namari is clearly in the wrong for what happened, but that doesn't mean Raya shouldn't be held accountable, or because, as Namari says, she's as much to blame for Sisu's death as she is. And the finale, man, that climax act, it starts strong with an incredible fight between Raya and Namari until Namari explains that she never meant for it or things to go that far. But man, and it's the final, it's the near end of the finale that always gets gets me every time. One of the film's best parts is its emotional core. And I did find on this rewatch that there were many moments that did get me emotional and teary-eyed throughout when I was watching the film. But man, at finale where Raya truly understands what Sisu means and how the only way to save Commander is for the five lands to trust each other, and is the one to take the first step of trusting the Mari, even for to for all the suit showing how they've learned to trust us, where now have to, and how they now have to learn to trust in us and the Mari. And how the Mari takes second chance to fix her mistake and be the one to put the gem together. Just us, like how Sisu everyone's trusted Sisu to be the one and to save the world. Man, that scene usually gets me, but that got me so much on my most recent rewatch. And that's not the only bit that got me emotional. Cece's backstory. We had a few teary moments on never not trying on control all my tears and never Chief Bang just has to throw Orion to the water for our own safety before he gets turned and stung on by the dream. And seeing in all five lines ants come together and reunite at the end of the feature. Man, that's me every time. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that even though I understand that this film isn't for everyone, Raya and the Last Dragon will always be one of my favourite Disney films. It's quite noticeable Disney wanted to do something different than all their other princess films. And hence why this one isn't a musical like all their other ones. And yeah, I think that was for the right choice. Always because they made an incredible feature of this. I always loved this film ever since it came out. I do remember still giving it a 10 out of 10 when it first came out. But after this most recent rewatch, I can definitely say that Raya and the Last Dragon is a top 5 Disney movie not just from Walt Disney Animation Studios, but top 5 Disney movie in general. Well, if you've yet to see this one, please do so. It's great. And also, so make your own opinions on this film. Just because I love this movie, that doesn't mean you have to love it too. I just want everyone to listen to my opinion, respect it, watch the movie, and then form their own opinion afterward. But if we all try to share the same opinions on this movie, on every movie that came out, life just wouldn't be fun. Would it? That we need to trust our own opinions and for our own, and trust that everyone else will respect our own opinions and not copy them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.